Addison Rae was one of the most talked about TikTokers right around the time of the pandemic, and just 2 years later, she is going viral for how she failed to leverage her TikTok fame into all the successful opportunities she had at the palm of her hands. From her failed beauty line to her completely fading off of the social media limelight, we've got to talk about the downfall of Addison Rae. I'm pretty sure we all know that TikTokers like Addison Rae and Charli D'Amelio have faded in popularity over the course of the last few years. I feel like, personally, they're just not talked about as much. They aren't getting the same brand deals, advertisements, etc. that were hyped up around 2 years ago.
Can someone please check on Charli D'Amelio and Addison Rae? Who is managing them? Who is advising them? And if you're a content creator on any level, please watch and learn from their mistakes. Let's back up. Charli D'Amelio just dressed as a Walmart employee to sell her new snack brand, which is just already a bad move on her part. I mean, she's got like 6 or 7 businesses that just make no sense for her brand. But to have a teenage millionaire who got her fame on TikTok and has never had to work a day in her life in a grocery store, it is just a slap in the face and like the worst content strategy I've ever seen. And then we have Addison Rae, who's just out here posting random videos with zero context and zero value just to promo her new song. I've been a social media manager for 7 years, and I know one thing to be true. You are as good as the team that you surround yourself with. They're both still so young, and I don't necessarily blame them, but I do blame the teams that they're surrounded by. I think that they're being poorly advised. And where they're getting it really wrong is nothing feels genuinely authentic to them. It just feels like they're throwing spaghetti against a wall and seeing what sticks. And when you have millions and millions of followers and the platforms that they both do, it's just such a missed opportunity. Neither Charli or Addison has evolved their brand since 2020, and I'm sorry, but the days of like not speaking to the camera, not engaging with your audience, not providing any value, dancing on videos, spamming their audience with promo videos, every other day posting an ad, or every other day coming out with a new business, it's just not gonna cut it.
So what's in store for the future of these influencers' careers, and what exactly led to their downfall? In July of 2022 was when things really started to go downhill for Addison Rae. It all started when she was rocked by allegations that her dad, Manny Lopez, had allegedly been unfaithful to her mom, Sherry Easterling. A woman by the name of Renee Ash, who is 25 years old, claimed that Addison Rae's dad had deceived her into thinking that his marriage with Addison Rae's mom was ending, which led them to a 5-month affair. People were absolutely shocked by this, and Renee shared her perspective on the situation with Page 6, saying, "He introduced me to his mom, his youngest brother, and I thought we had something real. He told me a story of his marriage that convinced me that they were apart and in the process of getting a divorce." But lo and behold, Manny Lopez and Sherry were still together at the time of their alleged affair. You can only imagine how messy of a situation this was for Addison to be involved in, as it just seemed like her mom and her dad were feuding with each other on social media in front of millions of people. Sherry addressed the situation on her Instagram at the time, saying, "Personal matters being brought public are always challenging and overwhelming for anyone involved. I will be okay. My biggest concern is and always will be my children and their fragile hearts and minds. I will always do my best to protect them. My goal is to make sure that they feel secure and safe and know that everything will be okay. Thank you all for the love, support, and kind messages. It means the world to me." The whole situation was just very embarrassing, especially for Addison Rae in front of all of her followers, as it appeared that her own dad had an affair with someone almost the exact age as his own daughter. So this was probably a tough situation for Addison to come to terms with herself, but also to come to terms with in front of the entire internet. Things got a little bit more heated with this whole drama, as Young Gravy went on a podcast and said that he was actively pursuing a love life with Addison Rae's mom. This is when Addison's dad got involved once again, and he started a one-sided beef with Young Gravy, challenging him to a boxing match and posting these cringy videos on TikTok. At some point in the middle of this, Addison Rae ended up unfollowing both her mom and her dad, and I could only imagine how much of a toll this had to be on her mental health, since she had to go to her way to unfollow her own parents on social media. But it was probably unbearably annoying seeing her parent act like an immature adult on social media in front of millions of people. It's just not a good look for her. Unfortunately, following all of this, Addison had a rough summer upon the release of her new music. She was dabbling more into the music industry at the time, and Addison almost didn't release her latest EP. In an interview with Vogue last year, she contemplated not moving forward with her music career after the release of her debut single Obsessed in 2021, due to lots of negative reviews. She said, "I think I had a really fragile sense of self at that time. I was 19, you know, it kind of crushed for some time. I started feeling a lot of self-doubt, and those big dreams that I was pursuing, I just thought, maybe I'm not good enough to do this." Obsessed was a big part of Addison Rae's music career, but unfortunately, it was followed with a lot of negative reactions and criticism about her singing skills. Addison did blow up as a TikToker, so people were very judgmental about her actual talent, and whether she even had talent or not. During the peak of Addison's career, you guys may remember that she had also launched a beauty line. This beauty line was called Item Beauty, but unfortunately, it seems like that brand has been shut down. If you take a look over on her Instagram, the page has went completely private and all the posts have been deleted. Fast forward to a year ago, Sephora made the decision to dropping the beauty lines of Addison Rae and another influencer who goes by Hiram. Here's what people had to say upon hearing Sephora dropping her beauty line. "I thought this would be the case when I saw so much of Addison's line on sale. I think carrying these lines in the first place was bad for Sephora's luxury image. Seems like a lot of celebrity influencer lines don't last long." Item Beauty is honestly one of the most uninspiring brand names I've heard of in a long time. Like, what? Item Beauty always looked like a cash grab to me. The products were all very basic and marketed towards TikTok teens. Others gave their 2 cents on the whole situation that boiled down with Addison and her parents on social media and how that could have affected Addison's career and her own personal life, saying things like, "I don't know, I feel like after her dad made all of their family business public, she decided to take some time to herself. I couldn't imagine how traumatic that was." Others talking about how she didn't really try or make the effort to diversify her content or putting effort into businesses that she actually cared about, saying, "I think she would have adapted to the way the trends are now. Once all that happened with her dad, she kind of quit." Well, Addison is still posting on social media as of lately, but not as often as she once was. That hype that she once had back in 2021 no longer really exists, and people are really seeing through that. It is an unfortunate case when it comes to influencers who go viral in the spur of the moment, as most of the time they don't really have talent deep down and they're just kind of forced to go along with the virality and whatever comes their way. This TikToker also made an analysis on the downfall of Addison Rae this week, and it went pretty viral, and I have to say he made some great points in terms of the marketing aspect of why Addison and influencer brands as a whole don't typically last. Check it out, you guys.
I have a master's degree in marketing and I am foaming at the mouth to talk about why Addison Rae's beauty company went bankrupt and why her perfume company will be following shortly after, because I think it is the quintessential example of the same mistakes that influencers consistently make in the business world. It sounds dandy, but at the end of the day, what tends to happen is consumers see through the fact that this is not a passion project and that there was really no need for this product or this company, and the only reason it exists in the first place is to make money. And then sales decline and they go bankrupt, which is the case of Item Beauty. It became very clear to the public that Addison didn't care about this business. She stopped posting about it, she wasn't involved, and slowly the brand died, which is they overestimate the ability for this person's fame and their celebrity to translate into a long-term successful business. And the reason for this is the market decides whether something is good or not. And if your sole product offering is the fact that there is an influencer name attached to it, that business is destined to die. So Item Beauty was just another soulless, needless, pointless influencer beauty brand that did not need to exist and ultimately went bankrupt. Not only is this damaging for Addison Rae's personal brand and personal reputation, because it makes her seem like a sellout to her fans and makes her fans feel like they were taken advantage of because she's attaching her name to things that she doesn't care about and she's not actually involved in. It's materially damaging to her reputation in the business world. If you're an investor, why would you invest tens of millions of dollars into an individual who has proven she cannot sustain a long-term business with her fame alone?
Anyways, guys, I definitely want to know your take on the downfall of Addison Rae and how she's pretty much become irrelevant now. It's crazy because she still has over 100 million followers across all her platforms, but it just seems like that hype isn't really hyping anymore. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.